Yes, thank you, Raul. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here today. Here in many parts of Europe, it's a festivity day, so I do appreciate that you take your time. But of course, this is your event. This is actually the second event we organize at the UN, and we are very happy to do it. And it is we are even more happy uh, for the fact that this time we talk about our treasures, our kids, our children, which are not always babies, of course, but they grow up and they live their lives. The time of COVID has had a very strong impact on everybody's life, but for large families, it has meant quite a lot of more difficulties and more complications. And I think this has to be recognized, and this is why we are here. Of course, we have a European perspective, but I think this is a way to start a new discussion, a new talking about families, children, young people at a global level. Today, so we want to start from the lesson learned by the COVID, what this terrible pandemic has taught us, and but with our eyes to the future. And as I said, children, our children are our treasure, our future, and we believe they can do a lot if we let them. So I will let them the word, and I will let them to give us ideas and hopes for the opportunity to build a really more sustainable future that we all need, especially now. So thank you, Raul. Up to you and to the young people.
Well, my name is Ramon. I'm from Barcelona. I do work at PwC, the firm. And in the answer to your question, Raul, I think I had a lot of luck. I live in a large family. We're four siblings. And I do have, luckily, resources, and I think it's wonderful to have a large family if you can afford it, and it's viable, because you have important people to share moments with, and how you're raised, and you can learn from all your family's members. So I'm really happy and grateful to be in a large family. So luckily, I didn't have any issues with that, but I can understand that some families can do have.
Hello, greetings from India. And I'm Himadrija Singh Baghel. I'm a certified expert in life and professional skills. Uh, I think everything has a pro and a cons of itself. So, yeah, there are some positive and negative aspects of a large family. If we are living in a knit and supportive family, then we get a lot of mental support, financial support, economic well-being, and even overall good care of health. But the opposite is also true if the family is characterized by stress and also some conflict. So the family health is negatively affected. But overall, I feel that if we have proper understanding and compatibility among the persons in family, so I think more larger family will more be happier and more prosperous. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Hello. Um, in my house, we didn't have much space to work, to study, to be in meetings, and when we wanted some privacy, even if it was just to be on the phone with friends, it was kind of impossible because we only had a living room, and everyone was in meetings. Everyone was talking at the same time. So it was a little bit difficult. But at the same time, it was really good to have a large family because we had a great emotional support, and we were never alone, and we could do many things together and spend more time together. So I think there was a negative part, but also a great part during the COVID. I have 4 siblings, and I'm the number 4. No, I still have a younger sister. Yeah, I'm 22. Yeah.
Hi. Well, having a family of 6, it was pretty hard to find, individual spaces to do class and stuff because we would normally overlap ourselves. So I'd be doing class, and then my sister would be doing class as well. So if I wanted to intervene in class, she would have to turn the mic off, and that would bring some problem forward that would make the first week pretty hard to go by. and then we would move on the process.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, I was living alone because of my studies, and then I got back home with all the family again. And there, like, normally we had a room that was like shared with my sister, but like sometimes it was or me or my sister, and this time was both of us. So actually, yeah, the space was missing definitely, and sometimes also connection for our internet and for the calls, etc., was impossible to have. So I mean, something that all of us had, I guess. But it was also nice to have people around, but maybe a bit too much sometimes. Yeah. And Raul, can I tell you, because I saw in the on YouTube in the comments, people cannot hear you when you're asking questions. No, that's what they say. No. Yeah. Yeah, he's trying to solve the problem. Personally. Okay, perfect. Great. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Perfect. Uh, mm, mm, mm. They cannot hear. No, no, I'm sorry.
I'm from Bucharest and I have 6 siblings. I'm the older one. I have 18 years. Um, um, I'm in the last class. Um, yes. Well, I didn't have the problem because me and my family are like we know each other and we like to stay with each other, and it was fun in when it was COVID-19. But sometimes I didn't have personal personal space, but it was fun though.
So I am. Oh, I think I will enter in this because Raul can't be heard. So now he is asking about the negative and good things that. No, no. So yes, Klaus.
Okay,
go.
so maybe I can add some positive and negative aspects. We did a very special situation for our family because normally we are 6 kids, and now all 6 are studying in university in different cities all over Germany, and during the pandemic, we all came home. So it was like in the old times. And yeah, its positive aspects was awesome to be together with the family. I had many friends that were alone during the pandemic, that didn't have anyone to talk to meet, and we were the whole time together. And yeah, we had also surely this lack of space and lack of internet, but I think this is what a problem that many people here had. Yeah, but it was great though being together with the family. My parents were very happy to have all the kids home, and yeah, we had a great time.
Thank you.
This is something that large families experienced, especially parents. We had all the children back, and it was an opportunity that normally we wouldn't have at your age. So we really appreciated it, which is funny because of the dramatic time. But at least, as we said, our families were not affected by loneliness.
Okay, thank you, Regina. You are listening me now, but you are not watching me because I have do a change. Then my image is now on the platform, of broadcast platform. I think people now can hear me well, and you are hearing me here. Okay. Then I don't know if other people, for example, Albert, Tima, you are here. You can say some negative and positive aspects of living in a large family during pandemic situation. Hello, Albert. Are you here?
Hello, can you hear me?
We are not watching you. I don't know if it's possible. If
Yes, but my camera doesn't work.
Okay,
well, so
don't worry. Then you can introduce yourself and maybe to say something about the question.
So my name is Albert Dima. I am from Bucharest, Romania, and I'm 15 years old. And so, for example, having a large family during COVID was a blessing because I had every time I needed someone to talk. I could talk to my brothers or my parents or even my grandparents. But some negative aspects, for example, are the personal space, because in sometimes I wanted to stay alone, but that couldn't happen because I had my brothers and my parents next to me. But overall, it was really good, and I'm happy that I have a large family.
Thank you, Albert. And Inga, you're here. You have not spoken yet. I wasn't able to speak and show myself because I am the car too. Perfect. Then when you were stable and you will be able to speak and to appear, then you can write here and you can start to be with us. Okay, then I have another question interesting during pandemic and large families and pandemic. Maybe what do you think were the most affected aspects of your life as a result of the pandemic? For example, I don't know, Chiara, if you can say, Chiara Leda from Italy, if you can introduce yourself and maybe you can say what was the aspect of your life most affected during pandemic? Chiara, are you here? No. Oh, maybe Chiara is out. Then any one of you, Nico or Mafalda?
Yeah, I can. I think regarding my social life, the fact that I couldn't do typical things for my age, like, I don't know, go for a drink or dance or go to the beach, etc. But also regarding my academic life, I didn't learn many things. The evaluations weren't as fair, and so I think my grades were worse, and my level of concentration also decreased because I could never be alone and concentrate during my classes. So I think that these are the aspects that were most affected.
Yes. And Imadrija, you have from India?
Yeah.
maybe you have some aspect that you say, oh, I have been affected a lot by the pandemic, or no, my life is practically the same than before. But
Actually, my life is practically same as before. But I can tell about many families in India who have experienced pervasive sense of loss, such as loss of social networks, jobs, and the threatened loss of loved ones. And it has affected very negatively to all the people. And the most, I think, the most bad effect of the COVID is that many people lost their loved ones. And I think that's the worst thing that can happen in anybody's life. So that's all I know. And I think, thank God, I and my family are safe and healthy.
that's good. That's good, Madgija. Okay, I would like to welcome, because I see it's now with us, Serena and Upold. Are you here? I don't know if you have micro and camera on.
Yes, hello.
Hello. Maybe you can introduce yourself. Where are you from? Your age and the number of your siblings. And maybe you can tell us something about the questions we were talking about, the experience of living in a large family during the pandemic in Estonia, I think, which is your country.
Well, I'm Serena. I'm from Estonia. I'm 15 years old. I have 3 siblings, 2 sisters and 1 brother. I think that like during the pandemic, it wasn't really hard for me, but like every people's experience are obviously different. I don't know. I think for me it went pretty well. It was like really boring, but again, my family and like friends, everybody like supported and like had fun time during it.
And Serena, do you think, going to the last question of this first block, that COVID-19 has had an impact on gender equality? You know that gender equality is one of the objectives of the Sustainable Development Goals. Do you think that had an impact, positive, negative impact on gender equality on young people?
I think it was like positive.
And why?
Because like people like who were scared to like come up with something like had more encouragement, and yes, like they didn't have to like meet the bad people and like had more like encouragement.
Any one of you want to add something about Ana Maria?
Well, yes, I think so, because I realize some men have more rights than women for that question. For example, how they have more opportunities than women in some jobs, when women aren't appreciated and looked down upon by men. And some of the people think that the women are just good to make food and take care of the children or the house, and I think that's wow, it's terrible, and I don't like it. I want to change it.
Valeria, you want to add something more?
Yeah, it was a follow-up on what she just said. For me, it was actually a way to kind of overcome this barrier in the family, at least, because for us, it was, for example, the first time we had to do all together everything. So we split tasks. And for the first time, from my experience, actually, we were understanding what others were doing in the family, and all of us were taking care of all of us, you know. So I think this, in a way, had a nice impact, because we started understanding each other better. And this is the first step to then, okay, overcome possibly also these differences. So, yeah.
And boys, you have an idea about gender equality during pandemic, positive, negative aspects regarding this topic? Ramon, you have an idea? No. Or Nico, or Klaus, Albert. because only women, only girls are speaking about gender equality. Then, for example, you were, Ramon, cooperating or working more, doing more work at home with the task.
Raúl, I also believe that depending on the country, it's very different. It's not the same Spain, that Poland, than India or other countries.
Then in Spain, in your city,
I think that in Spain it's very equal, especially the new generations. We all cook, we all help in the house. Maybe the older ones not quite, but I believe that the new generations are very, very feminist, and we believe in equality. I don't see that. The majority of my bosses are women. I don't feel that that's a problem anymore here.
You don't see a difference, Nico? You have your hand raised.
I want to follow up on Ramon's quote. I believe here in Spain, at least, we have a pretty much equal system, and I don't believe that the quarantine fostered any male supremacy over anything else. And if anything, I think at least in my house, it helped showcase key difference that we overlooked on the years, and we actually managed to correct them, if anything. So I think this actually pushed forward a more equal society.
And from other countries, for example, from Germany, I don't know, Germany, if you have seen some difference, improvement, or going worse with gender equality during pandemic. Gerol or Klaus? Okay, yes, Klaus.
Yes, so for us, it's the same in Germany. We are very equal in working life, work life, also studying. So there, I don't see many differences there, but it was, although a nice opportunity. I think also, like Nico or Ramon said, that we were sharing the tasks at home for a longer time. Yeah, to have an equal work also at home. That it's not like the old roles that women have to do the work, but men are also working as well, doing the same jobs, doing everything.
Perfect. Then I think that Clara is now here. Clara, I don't know if you can speak or you can switch on your camera, maybe to introduce to all of us, or you are by car, still going by car, or... Okay, I think it's not possible. Then we go to the second block of questions. We have talked about the impact of COVID-19 in the living in a large family, in your lives, in your experience, personal experience. And now we can share the other questions I'm sharing with you on the screen, which is the first one. After the pandemic and forced cohabitation, has your idea about the number of children or you would like to have in the future changed? The pandemic has changed your mind about the number of children you want to have because you have seen maybe the difficulties, or you have seen the positive aspects, or maybe doesn't change? What do you think? For example, Mafalda, I don't know if you know how many children you would like to have, or you are not thinking of this yet?
I don't think it has changed my mind, because in general, I think it was, in spite of all of the bad things that COVID has had on people's lives, for me and for my family, it was positive. We had a positive experience, so I don't think I will change my mind and the number of children that I would like to have.
Another opinions on this? You or your opinion about if people have changed this idea? Because, you know, we are in many countries in a demographic winter. People are having less and less children time to time. and very, very late. Do you think that pandemic maybe have an impact of this, having less children than before, or people maybe wants to, I don't know, like in 20s, last century, like an explosion of joyness and and people want to be more courageous and to having more children? What do you think? Any one of you have any idea about this? Any opinion? Valeria?
Yeah, personally, I didn't change my mind. I mean, I didn't have something in mind, but still nothing has changed for me. But I think actually that from other people from outside, especially those who are not living in a large family, something has changed, and I think they're kind of scared now. Like for them, since they didn't experience it in a family, in a large family, for them it could be like, oh my God, it's crazy. Imagine if we were more. To be all together, it's impossible, we cannot do it. But for us, I think it was kind of normal because we were used, I mean, we raised up all together. For me now it was different because we all got back home. But I mean, when we were young, we were all together in the same house and it was kind of the same. So for us, it was still kind of normal. And I think for people that didn't experience something like that in a large family, this will become more scary. But at the end, for me, for example, it didn't. So yeah, that's my idea.
And for example, in Madrid, you are from India. Do you think that, I don't know what is exactly the situation there. Are you with this demographic winter, people having less and less children, or maybe the pandemic has changed your idea about the children you would like to have in the future?
No, actually, I didn't have any idea about it, but I can talk about people. So there are two kinds of people: illiterate, illiterate, uneducated, and educated, literate. So for literate people, I think they usually plan to have 1 or 2 children. So their plan also do not change with any kind of pandemic and all. And uneducated and illiterate people do not have any idea how the population affects the economy. So they also do not, I think they also would not plan to change their ideas and all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Margita. And for example, in Romania is a country where one of the lowest fertility rates in Europe. I don't know if one of the Romanian young people who are here, if you have realized that there is a change in the mind of the people of Romania, maybe they would, because after pandemic, they would like to have more children or not, or the difficulties are bigger than before. What do you think? I don't know, Albert or the other Romanians, Ana Maria.
I think that some of the people are actually scared because they think that it will be much harder. But for me, it didn't change anything, and I still want the same amount of kids that I wanted before the COVID. So it's the same thing.
And you, Albert, you are thinking to have a large family? If I may ask this.
I thought about I don't know, 2 kids, something like that. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay, and Ana Maria.
I just want to say that well, I like people and I like children, and I have so many siblings that I think I just don't want kids. I mean, it's a lot of hard work with them, and I just want to be maybe in the future I want to just have 1 or 2 kids, but now I just don't want to have kids.
Yes. And Serena, you think that anything have changed in your country about the idea of having children because pandemic? Serena, Anupol, are you here? Yes.
Yes, for me it too didn't change my mind, but I think like when there's more children, like it's more fun. But for me, I just like don't really want like that many children, like maybe 1, maybe max 2.
Okay, thank you, Serena. And Klaus, what's your idea about this?
So for me, it didn't change really, but I can imagine some people that experience that loneliness, being alone at home, and being alone. So I think they can imagine maybe having some sisters and brothers. So maybe their numbers or the wish of numbers of kids change in the pandemic.
Yes, thank you, Klaus. Yes, really, loneliness is a big problem now. Many people is living alone when they became elder, and they have nobody to take care of them. Then maybe people with the pandemic have thought and say, in the future, I would like to have a family around me and not to be alone. Maybe this is a reason, maybe to have more children or not. I don't know. Mafalda, what do you think about this?
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said right now.
If you think that maybe loneliness, people don't want to feel alone in the future, and maybe they think that having a family it's better than to be alone, and this is a reason for having more children.
Yes, maybe, but here, at least in Portugal, it's very difficult to have a family and to have more than one children. So I don't know, maybe people want to have more children so they can fight against loneliness, but it's very difficult because everything is expensive and it's hard to get a job, and our salaries are very low for our daily costs that we have. So I don't know. Maybe they want, but I don't know if it is possible.
Thank you, Mafalda. You have been talking about difficulties. This is the second question I would like to ask you, to everybody. Because after pandemic, do you think you have the same chances as before when it comes that, as we call, transition to adulthood? For example, looking for a job or looking for a house to live. What should be done about it? So do you think there are the same chances, more difficulties than before? The same? What should be changed to facilitate? For example, I know that in my country, in Spain, practically 60% of young people until 32 years old are living with their parents. This is terrible. It's very difficult to start a family at that age, to have a new home. What do you think about this? The difficulties with the pandemic to make this transition to be independent from your family and to start a new family or a new home is more difficult than before. It's very difficult for you. Do you think that maybe this is a reality that only should be done when I became 30 years old? What do you think, Ramon? In Spain, you think it's difficult to start a family?
It is, yeah. So it's nothing like we can discuss about. It's difficult. The numbers are there, but you have to sacrifice other things and start saving with a lot of time in your early works to be able to manage to have a family, and especially if you want to have a large family. Otherwise, it is difficult to have a good salary nowadays. It's complicated. I don't see that at the point of this question, Raul. It's difficult. Not only Europe, not only Spain.
No, but for example, there are other countries. For example, I think like Estonia, where it's easier to be independent. For example, when you are young, with 18, 19 years old, maybe 20 years old, you can live alone, and you can maybe to have another life independent. Serena, is this a reality, or is like the countries of the south of Europe that you need to wait until 30s? For example, in Estonia.
I mean, usually when you turn 20, you're like buy your own house and go live somewhere else with like your boyfriend or husband, or like just go live alone somewhere, not with your parents.
And why is easier, you think, in Estonia? Do you receive any kind of help from the government, or Is housing cheaper?
It's not like really cheap. Like right now the prices are like very high too. But I think it's just like you want to like go away from your family, like just to have your own time and like just like make it work and like collect your money and like buy your own house, like maybe a little apartment.
Mm-hmm. And in other countries, how is the situation to be independent when you are young and you want to start a new life? Valeria?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I'm Italian, but I moved to Switzerland because I had better opportunities there. And for me, it was super important to be independent as soon as possible, let's say. And in Italy, I didn't have help, let's say, the government, my hometown. It was difficult. And actually, I really see the difference now in Switzerland because they give scholarships to students just to study. And it's not about even like your grades or something else. It's just about, okay, what is your income? What are your opportunities? Okay, here is what we can give to you so that you can find your opportunities and build your future. So I think really, yeah, it's still possible also in Italy for sure. It's just way harder and you have to work harder to achieve it. Yeah.
Okay. And in other countries, I don't know if some of one, because we have here, I told before Inga, but it's not Inga. I think you are from Latvia. I don't know if you can speak already or not, because you say you are not Inga, you are Madara Sproge from Latvia. But I think you have another phone. But I don't know if you are ready to speak or not. Or Clara, if you are already ready to speak. No. Okay. Then, for example, the transition from the youth to adulthood, you think that the policies that the governments are doing in your country are facilitating young people to start, I don't know, a new life, a new home, or this transition to adulthood, to have your own salary, to a stable job, or something these policies need to change? And if they need to change, on what way? What do you think? For example, I don't know, in Portugal, Mafalda, you have good policies for young people, or something, you think something had to change?
Well, definitely something has to change. Even though there are opportunities, job opportunities, the wages are low in relation to the anticipated cost of having a financially independent life. So I think, I don't know, there should be, I don't know how to say this in English, but they should help young people to leave home and start an independent life, like help with education first, and I don't know, facilitate our when we are looking for a house, facilitate the incomes. I don't know.
Maybe during pandemic, government improved new policies for young people. I don't know, in Portugal or in India, in Madrid, you are here now. There are new policies for young people, or you have the same policies than before the pandemic?
There are new policies related to tax benefits, but they are for those who immigrated and want to return. But they only want to return if our country grows economically, and at this moment, our country has a huge debt, and our taxes are very high. So I think it's a little bit difficult to return if you want to return.
Yes, maybe the future is not very clear. Yes, with the consequences of the financial crisis we had years before, and now the economical crisis because the war in Ukraine. I think that things are not easy for young people now. I think to see the future with optimism. Imadrija, in India, are you here, Imadrija? Maybe I would like to know. You can't speak. Oh, sorry, connection. Then in Germany, Klaus, you are in your car. You think that is easier in Germany to start to be independent? What is the age to be independent from your family in Germany, for example? Do you have help from the government?
Yeah, there's a lot of help from the government to go to university. So most people here go right after school to university and get a scholarship. So if you're living in a family that can't give you the opportunity financially to go to university, you get it over the government. So and we don't really have fees for the universities. Yeah, but after university, it's hard for young families to buy a house or to get a flat because we have very high prices here in Germany. And there was a support, I think, so last year for families to buy a house, connected with the number of kids. But I think it's now ending, this support. So this is a thing that definitely needs to be there.
Thank you, Klaus. Okay, then I'm watching the time. Then we have only 7-8 minutes to finish. Then I'm going to share with you the last questions. The last questions we want to discuss. We have these 3 questions. In your opinion, what are the shortcomings and the areas in which governments and international organizations should focus more? And how could sustainability be included in such measures? This is a very deep question. It's not easy to answer, but the focus, where the focus should be put by governments and international organizations to build a sustainable future. What do you think? What could be the main point to work together to build a future more sustainable than now? Do you have any idea about this? Any suggestion, proposal, for example, circular economy? How many of you know what is circular economy? Or green energy? We are talking about green energy. Do you think that green energy should be the most important thing to work together, or maybe to facilitate a house for everybody, or to help people having children? Any of you have an idea? If you are called by the government saying, please tell me which is the most important thing we need to work together for build a sustainable future. Ramon, what do you think?
I do think that the most important thing is keep putting money into education, making sure the next generations are prepared and well aware of how to recycle and how to manage the energy and how to spend your money, because how you spend your money also defines if it's spent properly and helps the environment or not. Have a more eco-friendly mentality where we have to spend more money isolating a house. If we have to spend more money buying an electric car, then we should. All that kind of stuff just goes through having an educated society.
And Nico, what do you think about this? Nico, are you here? Yes. Do you think that Ramon is right when he's saying about this green energy, or you think that the focus should be put in another topic, another question?
I think Ramon is partially right. Green energy is a preponderant topic that we should definitely bring more focus to. I think at least my generation has grown, having received lots of inputs regarding green energy, and I think it is time that we put these inputs to work. and showcase that we have actually learned from the mistakes of past generations. So Ramon actually made a very good point here that one of the main focus points of this generation should be on renewable energy.
And do you think that talking about sustainable economy or circular economy, the way of life of large families, is really an example? Because you are in large families, we have the culture of sharing food, sharing clothes, sharing things. That we need this kind of culture maybe in our world.
I think it's different regarding families and regarding whole countries or even bigger aspects. I think it's rather utopic to think that we could actually bring the same level of companionship that we have in a family to a bigger ring. That's why we have laws in a state and we have norms in a family. Those are different in this regard. So I think that while we can talk about a circular economy in a family, we have to admit that regarding the bigger status, incentives are needed to share and to sort of bring this more humane economy to the table. I don't believe that out of sheer goodwill we can build a better society. I think that's rather utopian.
Yes, maybe we need to change this individualistic conception of society we have to have another more taking in account the community, the group of the people and persons, and to be more human, the economy and the society we are living. Okay, then for the last question, because we have only very few minutes. I would like to ask you a very interesting question. Regina Maroncelli, our president, is pushing all the board of ELFAC to work on this question about to give voting rights for children, because children have rights, they are citizens, but they are not representing in the elections. Then maybe governments, they are only taking in account a very elder society, the elder people, the elderly, but not the interest of children, of the minors. Do you think that something can be changed in the electoral system, like before women, they cannot vote, and now they vote? Maybe children, maybe represented by parents, or lowering the age of votes. Gerald, you have raised your hand. What do you think? Gerald, are you here?
Yes. So in Germany, I think we have it. Yeah.
Yes.
So my connection is quite bad. I hope you can hear me. Is it possible to hear me?
Yes. We are hearing you.
So, okay, perfect. So in Germany, I think we have a quite good system because so with 16 you can join we can, so with 16 years you can already join the communal elections, and with 18 you're allowed to vote for the elections for whole Germany. And I think it's quite important that you have this difference, because I think the right to elect something is also connected with paying something. So,
Gerald, we have problems with your sound. Okay, we can go back to you later. Then, what do you think about giving voting rights for children, maybe through the parents? For example, parents who have 4 children, they have 1 vote for the father, 1 vote the mother, and maybe half vote by each child, for example, to have more presence in the public agenda, the interest of children. You think is it possible? Do you agree with this, or?
I don't.
You don't.
I think it's quite complicated and hard because maybe there are discrepancy between the both of the parents. Maybe one is left, maybe one is right, maybe one, I don't know. So I think it's too complicated, and where do you put the line on that? If you have one kid, you can, so it's 0.5, you have 3, it's 1.5. I think it's too complicated, too complex. Also, by the way, the people who's from large families, highly probable to become a large family too in the future. So politicians already know that, and it is what it is. I don't think it's going to change anything. It's not representative anyway. Raul.
Perfect. You are against. We have listened your reasons. Is there anybody in favor of this idea that giving voting rights for children to be represented in the elections? No? Nobody? You don't have an opinion, I think. Maybe Regina will have an... sorry, Nico. You can say yes.
Well, it depends on who you consider to be children. You can lower the cap for the age cap for people to vote. You can consider children to be people 16 below. So you could actually legalize voting rights for 16 and above. But I think, as Ramon said, there comes a point where the children the child in question has to have enough information, or has to have enough of a sense of awareness on the political system and of his priorities as an individual and as a society, that usually only come at a certain age. So we cannot expect a 10-year-old child to understand why should she vote this political party or I don't know, just go for the other one. I think a balance should be found between age and knowledge. So I think it's a pretty controversial topic to give voting rights to children.
Thank you very much, Nico, for your opinion. We have arrived to the end of the time we have. Then thank you very much to all of you from Romania, Ana Maria, Imadrija from India, Italy, Albert from Romania, Klaus, and Gerol from Germany, from Spain, Ramon and Nico from Estonia, Serena from Latvia. We have not been able to listen you, but you have been listening us. Then I would like now to give the floor for the conclusions of this meeting to Regina Maroncelli, the president of ELFAC.
Yes, thank you. So it's always very interesting and very important to listen to what you say. I'm very glad that you recognize the role of your families during the bad times of pandemic. I'm less glad when you think that it's too heavy to have a larger family on your own, but maybe life will tell you something different in the future. Our effort is to give you opportunities, and this is something that we will go on doing. I try to take these informations about education, how the role of education seems very important to you, and thank you for underlining this to us. As for your commitment, maybe you are engaged already in many things, and this is true. You have to study, you have to work, you have to think of your future, and so maybe to give the burden to you of thinking how to direct things, maybe it's a bit too much. But I think you have more energy than we have, and you will be able to do it. Maybe I would suggest you to be more, in a way, not to be scared of what might happen. When we had large families, We didn't made calculations about how we would do in the end. And in the end, it turned out to be a good thing. So maybe sometimes you have to bet on life and on the future and see what happens. I don't know, this is the best thing and the wisest thing I can tell you, but thank you for sharing your ideas. We are here to support you, and I hope this is clear and we will be useful for you and your mates. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you very much, Regina, and we hope to meet all of us with other people in other meetings like this meeting to talk about the problems and the situation and the future of young people, specifically from large families. Then thank you very much and see you soon again. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.